to Newsmakers. I'm Lisa Oligas. Our four-state region is home to quite a few Native American tribes. One of them is the MoDoc Nation, a tribe with a history of more than 150 years in Oklahoma, where members were forced to move from their original homeland in Oregon and California that dated back to 1820. Today, MoDoc Nation provides an array of services ranging from child care support, mental and behavioral health services, to addiction treatment, wellness, housing, and even a bison ranch for members, and in some cases, the general public. We will delve into all of these in today's program. We begin our conversation with an overview of the tribe and its history with MoDoc Nation Chief Rob Berkebile and Second Chief Gina McGahey. Welcome. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Yours is a tribe with a history of survival. Chief, tell us about the tribe, its numbers now, and the history that you sort of hope to preserve.
Right now, we're a tribe of 361 members. As you mentioned, we originally come from the California-Oregon area. We came here as prisoners of war after the MoDoc War in 1872. Some of the history we're trying to hold on to are our language in some ways that have been lost over the many generations and the long distance from where we came from.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about the MoDoc War. The history, I mean, you were a nation basically attacked by the white man. And so how many families were rooted in, and you have some, I guess, big names in that history. Tell us a little bit about the fight for your nation and how it's actually then survived and tried to thrive in Oklahoma.
Our leader was Captain Jack, who was trying to preserve a homeland for his band of MoDocs. Like you mentioned, we were kind of removed from our homelands, forced to share a reservation with neighboring tribes. There were some internal conflicts, and we wanted a spot of our own. In doing so, we kind of broke some laws, and that's where the fight ensued.
Mm-hmm. So now you've been in Oklahoma at least 150 years. That was a recent anniversary celebration, I think 2023. Mm-hmm. So tell us about the MoDoc Nation now. As you know, it has lots of services, a lot of things. What is important that nation be able to survive, and what do you want to make sure that is there for your folks?
Well, I think what we're trying to provide is, an array of benefits and services for our people. Education especially. We want all of our members to be educated, whether that's going to college, university, trade schools, anything to help better themselves. I think a part of that is because of where our ancestors came from. They started with nothing and had to build up from the ground up. And so what we're trying to do is provide our members with some of those basics that give them just that one or two extra steps ahead to make a better life for them and their family.
And you're located in Northeast Oklahoma. Are you part of that intertribal council?
Yes, we are one of 9 members.
Okay. So Gina, tell us, you guys have a museum and it has a lot of the history. Tell us what you want to put on display there and what you hope people will take heart and learn about and remember.
Right now what we have on display there is more or less a story of our history. Mm-hmm. And it's helpful for folks to remember where we came from. So much a part of our survival, because as you well stated, we are survivalists. I mean, we were down to less than 50 members at one point.
Wow. And
most of them were under the age of 18. So, by the time we received our land in Oklahoma, the people that were here to receive it, that had not returned to California, were born in that area, by and large. There were very few that had not been born at that point. Mm-hmm. So in order to survive, we basically had to assimilate. And so their elders were afraid to speak the language. They were afraid to share their traditions. They were afraid to even acknowledge being Native, because mm-hmm. that was a good way to get yourself shot, really. Yeah. And that happened. Those things did happen. So what we really want folks to remember, what we want our members to have, is the story of survival. Because I think that we are well described as a people who can overcome. Mm-hmm. And it helps them. It's interesting for them to learn the history, because they're like, oh yeah, no wonder I can do so many things, or no wonder I've survived this, or no wonder I kind of have a dark sense of humor. It's kind of who we are. Yeah. And we are survivalists, and by nature that kind of makes you a little bit different. Yeah. And we want them to have that ownership of, you are carrying on something that is an amazing gift, and it came at a high price.
Well, and you want to know your history.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
should know their history. One of the things you are working on trying to preserve is the native language. Is it spoken at all, or is it really hard to preserve that? I know like the Cherokee Nation has tried to do things. How different is your language from other Native American tongue?
It belongs in a linguistic group that really is native to Northern California and Southern Oregon. So it's a very guttural sound. It's not like any other language you would speak of. There's a lot of, it's very deep, it's very throaty. And so just learning the words is one thing, but learning the most accurate pronunciation is a whole different ballgame. And so that's what we're trying to do. And to learn how to sing it, really, to even make song.
Is it in danger of disappearing? And I know when you say making it a song, a lot of tribes in our area have had powwows. Is that something you would intend to try to do as well?
Yes, yes. We are actually. Well, we had one, I think, back in 1997, late 90s.
So ways back?
It was ways back, yeah. My children were still small. 2 of them didn't even exist yet. So yeah, it's been a long time, but we are going to revive a gathering, and it may be more of an exhibition powwow, but we are going to do that this fall, is what we're looking at. And just to bring back a gathering that has a very definitive cultural presentation.
And then is there anyone training to be able to share aspects of your native language?
Yes, we do actually have a group they are training they speak the language, they're learning to converse with the language, so we have folks that are tasked with preservation of the language.
That's awesome. So why is it important to provide all the services you do have? And I know one of them you wanted to talk about is the housing authority. So how important is that, Chief, and what is offered to them as part of the housing?
I think housing is very important. You know, it's one of those basic necessities that everyone needs. What we offer are housing for low-income families. We also offer homes for elders. Doesn't have to only be MoDoc. All tribal nations are welcome. And then we also offer just some, regular rental houses for those who are needing a place in Northeast Oklahoma. Finding rental space is very tough where we are, so it's good for us, I think, to be able to have that option for our members and our community members as well.
Is it something members may not even be aware that they're eligible to get?
They know about it. Most of them know about it. Yeah, we are one of many housing authorities in the area, so it's well known. There are restrictions, income are one, work and things like that, but they are available to members and community members.
Let's talk about some of the businesses you also offer, because I know you even have like recycling and technology and a market. Tell us about those businesses, and are these a source of employment or just kind of something that helps to support the community?
Well, 2 of the 3 are more community service activities, I think. We do employ a handful of one tribal member in recycling. That one's more, like I say, community service. We don't have many places to recycle in the Miami-Ottawa County area, so that's just a service we like to provide. The market, that was a place for us we grow our own bison. We want to be able to share that with our tribal members and community, so that's why we opened that marketplace up. Technology, that's for business, for-profit business, I guess. You could speak to that more.
Yeah.
Well, you also have a child development fund, and it offers support for daycares and daycare services. Tell us about that fund and how it works and what is available.
Okay. The Child Care Development Fund is really for daycare expenses. We don't own or operate our own daycare, so what we do is provide, money to help pay for daycare, help providers as well. And really it helps the student in just more than just going to daycare. That money is available for field trips, extracurricular activities, things to help, help the student learn and grow.
How are those funds distributed? Is it a grant kind of?
It is a grant, and they're distributed based on eligibility. So income levels, whether you go to work or school, number of children, whether they are enrolled in a federally recognized tribe, those sorts of things.
So can it be used by a parent to pay for daycare, or it can be used for them to provide their own daycare?
goes for payment towards daycare. So the money, I mean, the funds don't go to the parent. They follow the child.
Okay. So you have a nature center. How does that get utilized when it comes to daycare programs? And is it open to the public?
It's not open to the public, so what we use it is a resource center. So daycare providers, childcare providers, they come, they bring the kids, give them outdoor activity. There's also other resources, coloring, tactile type things. A lot of just something for them to learn more than in their classroom at their daycare or facility.
Why is that childcare so important for the tribe and for the parents? I mean, does it help them be able to work, be available?
It gives the parents a chance to work, to have a life outside of, just parenting. It also helps children, education is very important, I think, to everyone. And the earlier they start, the more they're exposed to, the better off they will be in life.
So you also have a wellness center. Tell us about that.
Not the person to talk to on that. We have a wellness center. It's our gym. We have machines out there. At one point they were hosting some aerobic classes and other exercise classes, but I don't think that's happening anymore.
No, mainly it's just it's open to the tribal members to utilize. Obviously, it's folks that are local to it, but a lot of folks that are in the Elder Village or the MoDoc Village utilize it.
Yeah.
So, it's our effort to give folks an opportunity to monitor their health and have some options for healthy activities.
Are there concerns about the health for the Native American tribe? We know, and we're going to be talking a little bit about addictions in a moment, but are there concerns or maybe even some things that are genetic that need to be worried about for the tribe?
I think that we're probably a little more prone to some of the heart disease. Diabetes is obviously a bigger issue among Native tribes, and it's a lot of because our diet was so native to the area wherever we were. That was, we literally gathered from the land.
Yeah.
And so now we're all into the processed foods, and that
Makes a big
has
difference.
consequences.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
Well, thank you for sharing the tribal history and about all these services. And we have even more to talk about. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we will learn all about the behavioral health services available through MoDoc Nation. But first, we learn about the Bison Ranch operated by MoDoc Nation in this report from Nellie Lopez.
You can drive a mile, maybe 2 miles, and see farmland. But this isn't just any farm. It's a bison ranch. More importantly, it's a ranch created by the MoDoc Nation to rehabilitate the tribal lands while cultivating a thriving bison herd into a valuable resource.
So our purpose originally was set out to be cultural. And then as the years have gone by, the more land has been bought, more buffalo have been acquired, more buffalo have made more buffalo. And we have had to kind of accommodate the whole situation. And so we are a full-blown farm now. We're sustainable with our own hay. We do sales in the spring and a show in order to generate income out of our production. We do have 2 herds that we do kind of consider a production herd.
This helps to bring food to the community as well.
Last year we were able to produce 25,000 pounds of bison meat for the public, whether that be through giving it away or sales. So that allowed us to take our herd here that you see. We've dropped our numbers all down to heifers, and so there's only 8 to 10 breeding bulls out there now, which brings the stress level down on the bison and the health quality up.
But it's not a danger to the bison species.
They are not going extinct. We do have that issue when we have, people come and do, these type deals. They thank you so much for saving a species, and in a sense we are saving a species. We're giving it a purpose, we're giving it a job, we're going to educate you about it, maybe get you more comfortable with an animal that has a higher omega-3 than a salmon, and get you in that perspective of trying to eat one of these animals.
Even though these bisons live on a ranch, they are not tamed, as to preserve their natural instincts.
For the public, let's stay off of this fence by the highway, go to Missouri where it's nice and welded up and you can see them right there, read about them and know about them, and that'd be a lot easier for everyone.
For KGCS, I'm Nellie Lopez.
We're back. In this Newsmakers, we are learning about the MoDoc Nation and the many services it offers. Those include treatment and therapy centers for behavioral health concerns. Joining our discussion today are Kathy Glover, MoDoc Nation Behavioral Health Clinical Director, Valerie Gregoire, the ABC Therapy Program Supervisor, and Kristen Hurlbert, the Program Supervisor for Healing House. Ladies, thank you all for making the journey to be with us today. So during our break, we saw some statistics that indicate drug addiction among Native Americans is 300% higher than the national average, and 5 times more likely to die from alcohol-related causes. So Kathy, you work with Lost River Treatment Center, which focuses on addiction.
Yes.
Why is there such a prevalence in the Native American community? What are some factors?
And it is true that the rates are higher for Native American population, and oftentimes there's a misconception that it's due to some kind of genetic predisposition. However, that it's not. There are a lot of factors that go into that. Some historical generational trauma, socioeconomic factors like unemployment, not a lower education level, and just cultural, sometimes traditional practices kind of normalize some of the substances. So just many other issues, some discrimination, and yeah, those are some of the issues.
Are there certain strategies you can implement to reduce that addiction stigma?
We at MoDoc Nation Behavioral Health, we work very closely and very actively with the community. We do a lot of outreach. We provide a lot of education. So we try, we have a social media presence where we try to reach as many people and provide some education on those platforms.
How do you incorporate cultural sensitivity? I mean, is it important to understand the history of Native Americans as you do your therapy?
And yes, I believe it is. And part of the way we do that, we have some of our staff are trained in the white bison or medicine wheel certification, and it just puts a cultural spin on the recovery services.
Okay. So tell us about services that you provide at Lost River. I know you have things like maybe UA testing. What are some of the services you provide?
So at Lost River Treatment Center, we provide just behavioral health therapy, which is outpatient, and it's for people with substance abuse or without substance abuse. We also provide our OUD, which is the opioid use disorder treatment, and that is a medication-assisted program where we offer prescription Suboxone and buprenorphine, and we do therapy, adjunct therapy, and peer recovery support services with that.
Wow, lots of services then.
Yes.
What is risk reduction? I was told to ask that question.
Risk reduction, one of the ways we try to lower risk, we do a lot of harm reduction education, and we do a lot of events in the community where we do what we call pop-up events, and we will dispense Narcan, lock boxes, the prescription bags where you dispose of your prescriptions, and things like that. So just trying to reduce harm.
Right.
We do the fentanyl and the xylazine test strips as well. We are the only, we have actually a vending machine in one of our casinos in Miami where we dispense those harm reduction products.
So MoDoc Nation has several programs for youth. Kristen, tell us about Healing House. Can you describe the kind of clients that are treated at Healing House?
Yes, so Healing House is an outpatient behavioral health program for kids up through young adults typically, so typically around 5 to young adult, and we provide individual, group, and family counseling there, and we can do it in the office or it can also be offered in the community. So we have several therapists that go into schools, at the Boys and Girls Club. There's lots of ways that we can kind of come to them so they don't always have to come to us at the office.
What's the nature of when kids are coming to you? Is it trauma? What are the health concerns that they have?
A lot of times there's trauma, depression, anxiety, sometimes behavioral issues like in the classroom or at home, just any kind of thing that a kiddo may be dealing with.
Can it also be connected to addiction and alcoholism within the family?
Oh, for sure, because addiction is definitely a family disease. So a lot of times if there's one family member that's affected by it, then all family members are affected by it in one way or another.
Yeah. So where can the clients, you said it's outpatient, right? So they how does that work?
So they call the office. We do unfortunately have a waiting list just because we do have a high demand for it, but we do try to get people in as quick as we can. But once they call, then they come into the office for their first session, usually with the parent and the kiddo present for that. And then after that, they can be seen either in the office, in the home, or at the school.
Do they need to have a referral, and how do they get one to be treated there?
If they don't, they can just call themselves and just get on the waiting list.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Valerie's program. So the ABC therapy program is also for kids, right?
Yes.
So Valerie, who is served by ABC?
So we primarily work with individuals from birth to 8 years old with developmental disabilities, those with behavioral concerns, or on an IEP or 504 in their educational setting.
So what are some, would you think, kids on the autism spectrum? What are some of the therapies you include and services you use, strategies like ABA?
So ABA is a very individualized therapy. As the board certified behavior analyst, what I do is go in and do a developmental assessment on the individual to see where they are, not only on the skills that they have, but the barriers that are affecting them for meeting those skills. Once that assessment is completed, then I write a treatment plan, both targeting increasing those goals, but also decreasing deficits that that individual has.
Are you seeing an increase in the need for these services?
Absolutely. The rate of autism and just developmental disabilities is definitely increasing. So there's a huge need, especially in our community. Unfortunately, myself included, there's only 2 of us in the Miami area that have the certification to provide these services.
So that's one of the challenges. Are there other challenges in meeting these needs?
The
Is access part of it? Can they access the services?
Absolutely, yes. With some insurances, they have to have an autism diagnosis. At MoDoc Nation Behavioral Health, we accept even if they don't have their diagnosis yet, just because it takes so long for them to get in to see their provider, but also get that form with their official diagnosis. So we don't make them have that. But yes, there is definitely a barrier in getting those services to those individuals.
All right, so Kathy, you also can talk about Hope Ranch, and it includes equine therapy and is a place for experiential therapy. What does experiential therapy mean?
Experiential therapy is different from your traditional psychotherapy, talk therapy, in that it uses experiences and activities to help to process through like emotions and behaviors. So at our Hope Ranch program, we have equine horses. We have other animals as well. We have goats, pigs, and donkeys, and 1 barn cat. We do as well, we do with the experiential, not just the animal assisted, we do nature-based, which would be fishing or gardening or something of that nature. And we also have a ropes course where we have high and low elements. So we have a lot of different activities that someone could engage in if they come out to Hope Ranch.
I've seen high and low ropes courses in action. Kind of has to help you build trust.
Yes, definitely.
So how do animals and nature help people heal from a mental health disorder?
Well, I think as most of us would say that having a relationship with an animal is easier sometimes than developing one with a person. I think that animals are non-judgmental. They accept you for where you are, what you are, and all of that. So it just is just coming and being around in nature and being around animals. The benefits are it just reduces stress and anxiety and depression, and it just helps you build like those social skills and communication skills. And what they can learn in therapy and in experiential therapies is you can learn something there and then you're able to put that into practice in your daily life. It's just an easier format.
Are there other services offered at Hope Ranch? Or?
Not necessarily. Right now, the majority of our clients there are in the clientele that we serve at Healing House with the 5 to young adult, but we also serve adults as well.
Yeah.
Like older adults.
So let's talk about, are any of these open to the public, or are they all pretty much for tribal members?
We serve native and non-native. It's open to anyone. So yes, you just call and make a referral for yourself or other agency or community partners can make that referral as well. And unfortunately, as Kristen mentioned, we do have a long wait list,
So very much in demand.
very much in demand.
So let's talk about the strategies you use at these different programs. At Healing House, there is adult treatment as well at some of these programs. Are there specific therapies that are different for adults than as for youth?
Not necessarily. That we have a registered play therapist that uses play therapy even with adults. So a lot of the types of therapy that we use can be tailored kind of either way, can be tailored for youth and adults. And so we have a lot of different things that we're all trained in, as I'm a therapist as well. And so a lot of us kind of have our little niche or different things that we're kind of attracted to and that we like to use. But all of us can use all of those things with pretty much any age group.
And the ABC therapy, is it a certain classroom size or is it usually one-on-one services?
It's one-on-one services. Yes, we have the applied behavior analysis services as well as behavioral health services, just like at the Healing House. And for our littles, ages 0 to 3 years old, we also have an early childhood and family educator that works primarily with.
And is that done on site or do you go into homes as well?
It really depends on the need of the individual. If services are more appropriate to be provided in the home setting, then that's where it's going to be provided, but we also do clinic-based settings.
So I understand you have a nature center. Is that utilized by those in the therapy for the kids who would get to see things?
We have provided some parent trainings there and some meetings just to get community members more involved, but primarily it's in the office or in the home or school setting.
Yeah. And then the students at ABC Therapy, are there times when you have a big group or are they there on a regular basis or is it kind of like just sessions?
Just sessions for now. If we get another board certified behavior analyst, hopefully we can expand on that and provide more group opportunities.
Yeah. Would you ever consider it growing into like a school?
I would love that. I have big plans for this program and would love to see our own facility and clinic.
Kathy, how does someone make a connection or find out more information? Go to your website? What's the best way?
We do have a website. It's MoDoc Nation Health Services. We also have social media, Facebook, Instagram, MoDoc Nation Behavioral Health. So, and you can call our office. You can locate our number and
Someone will answer.
Someone will answer, yes.
Well, thank you all for sharing all this great information. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
And thanks for all you do to help people. That wraps up this edition of Newsmakers. Thanks to all our guests and thank you for watching.